Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Payoff Pitch. As always, I'm your host, Paul Valley. And we have a little bit to talk about today. Since we last spoke, the Orioles have won 3 straight series. They took 2 of 3 from the Yankees, they took 2 of 3 from the Athletics, and they took both games in Minnesota. It was supposed to be a 3-game series, but the first game on Monday got rained out, being made up on an off day on July 28th. In between the Orioles going from Toronto to Detroit. I believe they're going to stop off in Minnesota, play 1 game there to finish the season series, and then head out to Detroit. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, the Orioles have won 8 of 12 after dropping 4 of 6 on a 6-game road trip to Kansas City and Tampa Bay. So playing better baseball. They're a season high 8 games over 500 at 20-12 right now. Good for first place in the American League East. Mere percentage points above the Boston Red Sox, who are 20-13 right now. And seems like they keep flip-flopping. Every other day. It seems like the first place team changes. Never more than a half game up, never more than a half game back. And recently, it's just been percentage points that have separated the 2 ball clubs. So both teams playing well right now. But we're not here to talk about the Red Sox. We're here to talk about the Orioles. One of the reasons the Orioles are playing so well, one of the reasons they're in first place, we've been talking about the starting pitching at length, and in the first 18 games, the starting pitching was bad. They only produced 3 quality starts in those first 18 games. But in the last 14 games since April 26th, 11 quality starts, 87 in the third innings pitched by the starting staff with a 3.40 ERA. Overall, the starting pitching ERA is 4.28, which is 7th in the American League. Right in the middle of the pack. Don't know if it's going to go up, if it's going to go down. Right now, the way you have Tillman, Gausman, and even Tyler Wilson pitching, minimizing damage, at least Tyler Wilson is. Gausman and Tillman at times are dominant going out there. So you have a solid starting 3 right there. If Ubaldo can ever figure it out, his last 2 starts he went 5 innings, 6 earned runs, and he went 8 innings, 2 earned runs. So you never know which one you're going to get. Legitimately just a Jekyll and Hyde there. But really good starting pitching over the last 14 games. Like I said, 11 quality starts. The team's 3.56 overall ERA is 4th in the American League right now. And their bullpen ERA is 2.33, which is best not only in the American League, but also in all of Major League Baseball, as are the bullpen's 9 wins. And the 2 losses of the bullpen both are the least in the American League and second least in all of baseball. So, good pitching all the way around, And then, of course, the offense, they're kind of resembling the offense from last year in the sense that when one person slumps, it seems like everybody slumps. And then when one person gets hot, it seems like everybody gets hot. At the beginning of the Minnesota series, you had both Adam Jones and Chris Davis hitting below 200. Then Adam Jones puts up 6 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs in the 2-game series in Minnesota. Chris Davis puts up 7 hits, a home run, and 4 RBIs in the series against Minnesota. So they both break out of it at the same time, both hitting over 230 now when they both entered hitting below 200. So nice 2-game series for Jones and Chris Davis. Home runs, Orioles are second in baseball with 49 home runs, best in the American League. They're second in the American League in batting average at 273. And a little bit of bragging rights, they have 3 guys in Mark Trumbo, Manny Machado, and Chris Davis that have 9 or more home runs. Machado with 10, Trumbo with 11, and Davis with 9. 18 other teams in baseball can't even say they have 1 player with 9 home runs. The Orioles have 3. So, pretty remarkable there. We knew the power was going to be there. That was never in question. Weather in Baltimore has been awful. It seems like the entire month of May, except for 2 days this past weekend, it's been cold and rainy. So the Orioles haven't even gotten to benefit from playing in the hot, humid weather that usually comes along with the months between May and August. So, once the sun gets out and gets hotter and gets more humid, I think we're going to see even more balls flying out of the ballpark. I think this team's really going to take off. So, like I said, right now, 20-12, 8 games over 500, a season high. Playing good baseball, winners of 8 of 12 overall recently. So, another thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know what the Orioles plan to do about Brian Mattis. He pitched a scoreless inning yesterday after walking the leadoff hitter in a 7-run ball game. And he lowered his ERA to 8.31. Came in with a 10.80 ERA, lowered his ERA to 8.31 by pitching a scoreless inning. So, needless to say, he's been bad. You're at a point now where this guy's a former first-round pick, and you're looking at this guy, you don't know what's going on with him. He doesn't seem like he knows how to pitch anymore. Like I said, he had that scoreless inning yesterday, which is fine, but he walked the leadoff hitter when his team was leading 9-2. Throw strikes. Get in there, throw strikes. You basically have him on this team because you can only get David Ortiz out. And that's, for me anyway, that's not good enough. When I know he doesn't have any options, and I know that earlier this year I was talking about, he should be in the rotation. Last year he set career high in ERA, and batting average against was his lowest against righties, so I thought maybe he was ready to turn a corner, and it seems like he's taken 3 steps backwards. So, don't know what the Orioles are going to do about him. They could trade him. I don't know. It seems to me like he needs to change the scenery just like Jake Arrieta did. Now, you really hate to see him get traded or leave here in free agency and then be great someplace else, and then that's 2 pitchers that you let go who are great. But I could see that coming for Arrieta a little bit, not the way it has, but I don't see that coming for Brian Mattis. I think he's a head case, and I just don't think he's ever going to figure it out. At least not as a starting pitcher. Maybe in the bullpen he can get some decent numbers again, but just hasn't been good. So we'll see what happens with that. Jimmy Paredes is on a minor league rehab assignment. He's played 14 games in the minor leagues. I have to believe that he's probably not still hurt. The Orioles just don't have a spot for him, and they face a problem because he doesn't have any options left, so they can't bring him up because they don't have a roster spot for him, and they can't send him down without him first clearing waivers. And some team might pick him up because even though he's got stone hands, he can't field in the infield or the outfield, a team that's desperate for a DH could look at his numbers from last year and say, okay, this guy can hit 270 to 290 for us. He just got some pop, maybe he can help us. Orioles right now just don't have a spot for him, and you don't want anybody to get injured on the team because all the guys on your team are contributing for the most part. So, don't know what's going to happen with Paredes. I think they're going to try and keep him in the minors on a rehab assignment for as long as possible, and then, maybe they'll find space for him, maybe by getting rid of Mattis or getting rid of one of the optionable bullpen arms. They can bring up Paredes, have a 4-man bench again until, they have a 4-man bench because they brought up Paul Giannis, so scratch that. So, really don't know what they're going to do with Paredes. I didn't think even in spring training before he got hurt that there was a spot for him. So, we'll see how it goes. One other stat that I forgot to mention, Orioles lead the American League in fewest home runs allowed, which we've never been able to say, at least in recent memory as far as I can recall. Only 21 home runs allowed by the Orioles' entire pitching staff, which is best in the American League and second best in all of baseball. And I think it really goes to what the coaching staff was preaching in spring training, and that was keep the ball low. Keep the ball down in the zone because you've got an incredible infield behind you. They're going to field almost every ground ball. So, and I think that that's something that they need to do. That's what's contributed to the good starting pitching numbers over the last 2 weeks because of the fact that everybody was talking about how the Orioles starting pitching was going to be their downfall this year. They had an awful rotation. So they probably went to spring training and coaches were like, hey, you know what? Let's work with what we got. We have a great Gold Glove caliber defense all the way around in the infield and the outfield out there. Let's keep the ball down the zone, get a lot of ground balls, let's pitch to contact, and see if we can't run with it from there. So far it's paid off. Like I said, only 21 home runs allowed. That could change because they have a powerful lineup in Detroit coming in for 4 games that features J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez. It's a pretty formidable lineup. Ian Kinsler coming in. All those guys have had success against the Orioles, especially in Camden Yards. So those home run numbers could jump a little bit. And then no real break after that, because then you got to face Cano and Nelson Cruz with Seattle coming in here for 3 games. And they're playing good baseball right now, leading the American League West. So, but anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for watching. You can follow me at Paul Valley III on Twitter. I promise there is a Facebook page coming. Honestly, I've forgotten a couple of times, and then when I think about doing it, I'm pretty busy. I've been working a lot trying to pay off some bills and everything like that. So, but there is a Facebook page coming, I promise. I'm going to try and get it up and running here soon. But again, follow me on Twitter at Paul Valley III, and as always, go O's. Thanks for watching.